Welcome to the space for transformational leaders to unleash their magic, see better client results, work lighter, and live sourced. Hi, and welcome to today's video on sovereignty and being sourced. Sovereignty is a word you've probably heard a lot lately. It is becoming very, very popular, and I actually have several friends and colleagues whose work completely revolves around this idea of being sovereign. And we've often stopped to say, oh, gosh, we're really doing the same thing, aren't we? And so I wanted to just speak to this a little bit. If you've ever wondered, well, what does it mean to be sourced? What does it mean to be sovereign? They, generally speaking, are one and the same. So when I speak of being sourced, I talk about showing up as the unique slice of source energy that you came here to be, to express as a soul. So source energy is the collective consciousness, God, spirit, the universe, divine truth, however you want to think about it. And each of us is a soul that came here to express a unique slice of source energy. We're not meant to be all things in this life. We have a distinct energetic blueprint. We have specific ways of being, actions, outcomes that call to us personally, that don't call to everybody else. And so being sourced is actually trusting that knowing and that guidance and acting on it, right? Regardless of the impact that may have on the people around you. And that doesn't mean, expressing all willy-nilly and bulldozing people or intentionally hurting anybody, right? But it's like you can't control if your divine expression or the choices that are aligned, that feel true for you, are not going to be convenient for someone else, right? You can't control that. So when we're sourced, we're trusting our own inner knowing over anyone else's preference or what the standard is or what the expert says, etc. We're really trusting ourselves. Now, sometimes those things align, and that's totally great, right? This isn't about always going against the grain, but it's really being clear within yourself because you know how you work and you know how to read and experience source working through you. And from that place, when we make choices, they just seem to work themselves out. So what does it mean to be sovereign, or what is sovereignty? So this is Merriam-Webster. It says there's several definitions. Controlling influence, supreme power are a couple, but the one that's most closely aligned with what we're talking about here is freedom from external control, or autonomy. So again, just like I was saying about being sourced, right? It really is being free to make the choices that are aligned for you, regardless of what's going on externally. So free from external control, autonomous, right? Sourced kind of takes it to the next level with the spiritual aspect. But they really are the same thing. Your inner knowing, for me, your inner knowing, whether you believe in a God or use any of that language, your inner knowing is sourced. It comes from somewhere, right? There's a reason you are the way you are in this life, and that you're called to the things you're called to. And following and honoring that, honoring who you came here to be as an expression of source energy. That is your sovereignty. That is your sovereignty. So I'm curious, what work have you been doing in this area? How have you been practicing making sovereign choices in your life? How have you been tuning in and increasing your ability to access that divine guidance or that inner knowing so that there's not the wonder, right? Of like, is this my soul or is this my ego? Is this my truth or am I just being defensive, right? Like, how do we learn this? That's the challenge, right? Because so often our sourced knowing was denied or shamed. And so we learn to shut it down. And so we get confused or we act confused because our truth feels scary, because at some point in the past it was scary for someone. And so we shut it down. And being in business and being an entrepreneur is such an amazing place to practice tuning in and hearing your soul's guidance and building a business around how you're being called. Like, where else can you be autonomous than running your own business, right? And so it's an amazing playground for practicing what I call your sourced magic. As an entrepreneur, I invite you to play with this, right? And get the resources, get the support if you need it, to be able to consistently hear your truth and trust yourself over any external force that might be wanting to sway you in a certain way, to make them feel comfortable, to make them money, to help them feel safe, right? Get what you need to learn to live sourced. It makes a world of difference. This is Darla Ledoux. Please share your comments on this, your own experiences, your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. It really makes a difference. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share. I'm Darla Ledoux, founder of Sourced, and we'll see you soon.